Hello, friends. Welcome to today's episode. I will introduce a new format from this week. What I've decided to do is split the content on emerging technologies like AI in a separate episode and cybersecurity. Of course, if there is a convergence, I will either cover it in the AI content or the content around cybersecurity. Right? Why am I doing AI? Because I believe we all have to learn non-stop to be successful in whatever we are doing. And of course, if you remember, the agenda of starting this channel was to uh, make it easy for the younger generation to learn about technology, make it easier for them to adopt these technologies, as well as make a career in these. So I will try to cover whatever I'm learning. Some of this is new for me also, but I'm learning. We are all learning together, right? Now, let's get started. So, today, this is the first episode where I will cover content specific to AI. We'll talk about ChatGPT, what's happening there, what is Google doing in this similar space. There are some new jobs that are seen, and some interesting use cases, and how can we use all this knowledge to learn more, okay, or to stay safe in future. Now, starting with the chat gpt, right? So unless you've been living under a rock, I'm sure you would have heard about chat gpt. It's an llm, it's an AI bot in the most simplest format, that was introduced by a company called OpenAI, which is no longer open. It is acquired by Microsoft. Essentially, what this company did is they released this uh, platform or a tool that makes it very easy for anyone to search using the LLM model. Now, what are the LLM or large language models? Essentially, it's a model uh, of AI that can process, manipulate, and generate text. Uh, in AI, the most basic thing that we do is training the AI system. So in the LLM model, what is done is a large amount of data is fed to the algorithm. This included books, articles, and website content, so that it can learn new patterns and connections between words to generate new content. And it's part of an essentially generative AI. Now, if you saw my first episode, my note or my understanding about LLM or AI based chatbot was that it has definitely changed search forever. I also signed up for Bing uh, browser from Microsoft in the preview mode, where they are giving the AI search as a co-pilot. So I'm trying to use that. It's pretty interesting. So on one side it lists down the content that is typically in terms of URLs that are there, so top 10, 20 results, and on the other side the AI bot gives me specific answers that it has generated. Now, uh, this is amazing, right? It helps me be more proactive, productive in what I'm learning or looking for. Now, one interesting thing is, what is Google doing now? When the Google announcement came, of course, OpenAI came first. Microsoft has been an investor there, and when Microsoft acquired the company, there was an announcement done in hurry by Google. I believe it was done in hurry on Feb 6th, I think. The stock of Google tanked. They introduced their AI bot called Bard, and it was it was not available like chat gpt. It's still not available, and essentially what has happened is it has become a war of narrative. So what uh, the sentiment around Google is that it is weaker in AI, and Microsoft has been very bold and aggressive in their approach, and they launched this platform. Okay, Google was always leading the AI race. We use tons of products of Google, like Google Maps, YouTube, Google searches. Everything uses AI in one form or the another. And if you remember, Google has created some of the amazing products. If you would remember Google Glasses, Google Lens, right? Revolutionary concept. They were slashed by Google. They never made it to public, but they were amazing concepts. Now, the interesting thing is, as you all know, Google has data from billions of people on this planet, and it's still holding back. Uh, what could be the possible reasons? So they have the data, they have the users, and they have the algorithms. In fact, the LLM model that is used by ChatGPT is essentially based on a model called Lambda. As it means language model for dialogue applications. It was introduced by Google. In fact, if you go to their website called AI Test Kitchen with google.com, you will find that in 2021 they opened it for limited number of people, essentially developers, to start using those models. Now, LM-based AI bots are common, but ChatGPT uses an approach that was essentially designed by Google. Now, either Google knows that it's still not a perfect model, it would make mistake. If you go to any of the uh, search results from ChatGPT, not any of them, but most of them are accurate, but some of them are still inaccurate, and there is still a chance of having wrong inputs because you don't know the source of data, you don't know the biases that it has, right? And in one of the videos that I saw from Microsoft on the security side, there was a mistake. Although the platform allows you to give feedback, but it suffers from the problem of source of data. So if people with malicious intent, they start putting tons of data, the tons of bad data, the AI algorithm can definitely create wrong results, and it can impact, right? And I'm sure you have heard of examples where AI-based Twitter bots, they started saying things that they were not supposed to say, and eventually they were shut down, right? So what Google is doing is interesting. I'm sure they will come up with something great, considering they have the research and they have the data and the user base, right? Now, while that is happening, what has also happened is there is a rise of new kind of jobs. Okay? So there's a new job called prompt engineering. So I found a listing on a platform or from a company called Anthropic. It's invested by Google, and essentially it's asking for prompt engineers. Okay, and Anthropic is offering a salary in the range of 175K to 335K per year, along with the equity of the company. It is not requiring any computer science degree, and it needs a basic programming and QA skill. So it's not a made-up job; it's a real thing. I have verified this listing myself. Okay. Now, if you're on my YouTube channel, I'm demonstrating the picture that I've taken from their website. Essentially, what prompt engineers do is they are experts in asking AI chatbots. Now, the objective of having a prompt engineer is that it helps in the process of designing and creating prompts, or essentially input data. Prompt is what you search into that chatbot. It essentially helps AI models to train them to perform specific tasks. And the prompt engineer is supposed to ensure that chatbots are rigorously tested and their responses are reproducible, and that safety protocols are allowed or followed. Now, in simple terms, they ensure that the right input is asked, and based on the input, the right output is provided, and safety filters are followed. So, example, if someone types something that's malicious in nature, it's not related to something bad for any kids or any discriminated, it has a bias, etc. Those are the safety filters or safety protocols that the model is supposed to have. Now, so example, if you want the AI to write an essay, it should write an essay for a specific topic. It's as simple as asking someone to write a essay, right? A real person. Now, image generation AI models like DALL-E 2 and Stable Fusion, they also rely on prompts to produce images, right? And it can range from very small queries like who's the president of a particular country, a specific question, to a complex problem which has variety of facts, right? In fact, in some cases, in the latest version of ChatGPT, they allow you to upload a CSV file also as a input. into that prompt. So as this will get popular, more jobs for prompt engineers would arise. Okay, you can go to Google searches. You can again use chat GPT based search to understand what prompt engineering is. So the most common prompt is asking a specific question, but if you start adding new parameters, if you start telling the chatbot to behave or think like a person of a particular role, so example, you can ask him, behave like a cybersecurity expert or an AI expert with 20 years of experience in network security, and then answer the following. So this changes the response of the AI model. Okay, so that's what prompt engineering is all about. Now, while that is happening, ChatGPT is blocked by an Italian government citing data privacy concerns. There could be other countries also who could be blocking this, right? So we don't know how ChatGPT will be adopted across the world. Okay? Now, what I also found beyond ChatGPT are some of the interesting AI use cases. So what I'm doing as part of my learning is I try to find up with companies on how they are adopting AI. We'll try to build an AI landscape on to understand how AI is getting adopted. So I know AI is used in software editing, video editing, multiple other use cases. It's used in genome sequencing, etc. Now, what I found is few interesting things around AI. One is there is a company called Opus.ai that's using text to 3D, and it essentially helps you to build architecture and model and can be used in metaverse or to generate design of buildings. I also found companies that are offering AI generated fashion model. In fact, there are companies like Levi's who are trying to use AI based model. I also found an Instagram model or AI based model. The ID on Insta is Lil Michaela, and it's a Brazilian American model, music artist and influencer, and this model has around 3 million followers. I was amazed to look at her, right? If you're on my YouTube channel, I'm showing her pic, and it looks like a real person. Okay, on the Instagram handle you will find its picture with other models, friends, etc. I also found an AI code translator. It's an app called AI code translator Versal.app, where you could input programming code in one language, and using the code translator it would convert into another language. So example, you give an input in JavaScript, it can convert into Python, and it has multiple options. I found 20 different languages at least there. Also, Microsoft launched a preview version of their security copilot to increase productivity of the people in the cybersecurity operations. It is said that AI will increase capacity of the knowledge workers, which is people who use technology, by at least fourfold by 2030. And it could, if you want to compare it in terms of value, it could increase the global labor productivity to around $200 trillion. Okay, so it's amazing. Also, I found an AI coding assistant from GitHub called it's called GitHub Copilot. It has essentially allows software engineers to code in less amount of time. Okay, now this is amazing. Okay, so if I'm writing code and I need GitHub Copilot to write my code, it's gonna do that. Okay. Also, there are more tools coming, right? So I have found another tool that helps you convert text to video, text to YouTube video. So if I have written a script, it will automatically do a voiceover as well as create a video around it with images that I select. Imagine the productivity increase that it brings on table. Now, while all this is great, right? So while we will learn how AI is getting used by various industries, how can we use it, right? So at first, as I've been saying, I realize ChatGPT or AI based chatbots will help me be more productive, because now I can do specific searches. I can ask for specific prompts, ask it to write something that I've been thinking about. Okay, it can help me read summaries of the books, etc. So it helps me being productive. Now, also it can help me to learn future skills. Because AI is a future skill, I'm going to learn as many AI tools that are related in my field of cybersecurity as well as any adjacent field or any other things, right? Typically, I want to understand where is AI taking us. Of course, it is increasing productivity in various fields. If you want to use AI in your field, absolutely you should. Now, I know there are people who are afraid of AI. They are saying that, hey, AI can write that code, great, right? And but we will lose our jobs. No, you will not. If you go back and search for uh, strikes against calculators, there were strikes there on calculator because people wanted to do manual calculations. But now calculator, we all assume, calculator is taken for granted. We use it as a tool to shorten the calculation time to do basic arithmetic or in some cases advanced arithmetic operations, right? Whatever is possible on calculator. Similarly, same goes for computers. Same goes for internet. Now AI is being seen as one of the revolutions that is going to change everything. Okay? So it's going to make us productive. So I want to be on the side of AI. I want to learn AI first so that I can be more productive in my domain. Okay, maybe I learn something that changes my domain completely. I don't know where the future is going to go, but I'm going to stay with it. Okay, so be there. Learn as much as you can. Read. Um, if you can't code, learn using softwares that are using AI, and because AI is getting into everything that's there. Okay, now I am also using personally AI to make more money. Now, how was that gonna work? If you look at where innovation is happening, so this is something I'm quoting from the ARC Investment Management Big Ideas report of 2023. By the way, I'm not a registered investment advisor. This is my personal thought, so don't invest on what I'm going to say. But this is my learning. This is just for understanding how you can use AI to make money, also, right? So what that report said is there are 5 domains that are getting converged today. Okay, one is public blockchain, second is multi-omic sequences, third is robotics, energy storage, and then AI. So AI is merging with these four domains, and the biggest catalyst to all this is neural networks, which is essentially part of AI. It is getting into every domain. So when AI goes into every domain, it has uh, the use the knowledge worker of that domain to be more productive. So people who are designing robots, they are using AI. People who are designing batteries, they are using AI. People who are in genome sequencing, they are using AI. People who are building large blockchains and using smart contracts, cryptocurrencies, they are using AI. Right? So AI is the biggest catalyst. Now, what that means is there would be companies who would be using AI. They would either power the back end of this infrastructure, the front end of the infrastructure, or even the hardware. So I am looking for companies who will benefit most in this case. Okay, so think think from that perspective, where no matter what happens, something will have something will be impacted. So example, what does AI need the most? Compute, resources, right? Hardware, software. Uh, so if you find companies that are very popular, it will be used by all the leading providers of AI-based solutions. Would you invest in that? I would. I'm researching. I'm looking for those companies, right? That's why I'm increasing my knowledge. So while I use AI-based knowledge in increasing my productivity on my day-to-day life, my work life, my corporate work routine, also my personal uh, side. So example, I'll be trying to use an AI-based podcast editing software that reduces some noise, which will save my time. I'm going to experiment all that. Okay. Also, I will look for companies where I can put whatever money I can to grow that money, right? So that's my idea. Now that's it for today. Uh, just to summarize what we learned today is we started with ChatGPT. We talked about what is Google doing, my thoughts on that. We found rise of new jobs called prompt engineering. We also learned some new use cases of AI and how we are going to use that knowledge. With that, thank you so much. I'll see you next time.